Let's go Buffalo! Bet you didn't know a rock star from New Jersey nearly moved the Buffalo Bills to Canada, and the man who stopped him started his fortune with just $7,500. This is the story of the summer Buffalo almost lost its team. A story with a billionaire, a rock star, and a bidding war that reached numbers this city had never seen. And it happened right here, in Orchard Park, just south of downtown Buffalo, barely more than 10 years ago. Let's set the scene. For 54 years, the Buffalo Bills belonged to one man, Ralph Wilson. He founded the team back in 1960, one of the original owners of the old American Football League. Through the lean years and the glory years, through 4 straight Super Bowls, Ralph Wilson never left. He was Buffalo's owner, loyal to the end. In a league where teams chased the biggest market and the newest stadium, Ralph Wilson kept the Bills in one of the smallest markets in football because it was home. That loyalty is exactly why what happened next hit Buffalo so hard. And on March 25, 2014, that end came. Ralph Wilson passed away at his home at the remarkable age of 95. Buffalo mourned, but almost immediately, Buffalo got scared, because when Ralph Wilson died, his estate, his trust, had to sell the team. And a team for sale is a team that can move. Suddenly, the most terrifying question in Western New York wasn't who would win on Sunday. It was, will there even be a Sunday? Will the Bills still be here at all? Understand what this team means here. In Buffalo, the Bills aren't just a football team. They're the thing that binds a whole region together through long winters and lean years. Losing them wouldn't just be losing a team, it would be losing a piece of the city's soul, and every fan knew it. The fear had a name, and that name was Toronto. You see, one of the groups circling the team was based across the border, up in Toronto, Ontario, and the man out front, the face of that group, was a rock star the whole world knew. Jon Bon Jovi. Now, Bon Jovi wasn't alone. His Toronto group included some serious Canadian heavyweights, Larry Tannenbaum, who controlled the company behind the Toronto Maple Leafs and Raptors, and Edward Rogers of the Rogers Communications empire. This was big money, real money, and to Buffalo, it looked like a threat aimed straight at the heart of the city. Because here's what fans uncovered. A local watchdog group, the Buffalo Fan Alliance, dug up public filings and found language describing a group attempting to acquire and move the Buffalo Bills to Toronto. The Toronto side had even studied stadium sites up in Toronto and Mississauga. Now, Bon Jovi himself said publicly he wanted to keep the Bills in Buffalo, but Buffalo wasn't in a trusting mood. To this city, a Toronto group meant one thing: a moving truck. And overnight, one of the most famous rockers on earth became the villain of Western New York. So, who was going to save the Bills? Let's go Buffalo! Bet you didn't know. Enter a quiet man from Pennsylvania, Terry Pegula. Now, if you didn't know Terry Pegula in 2014, let me tell you where he came from, because it's one heck of a story. Back in 1983, Terry Pegula had a petroleum engineering degree from Penn State and about $7,500 to his name. With that, he founded a natural gas company called East Resources. $7,500, that's it. That's the seed, and he grew it. Slowly, then enormously. East Resources drilled the Marcellus Shale, that vast blanket of natural gas buried under Pennsylvania and beyond. And in 2010, Terry Pegula sold the bulk of that company to Royal Dutch Shell. The price? $4.7 billion. Let that sink in. $7,500 to $4.7 billion. That's the American dream with a hard hat on. And here's the part Buffalo loved. Terry Pegula didn't take that money and buy an island. He'd already fallen in love with Western New York, and in February of 2011, he and his wife Kim bought the Buffalo Sabres, our hockey team. And when he did, he said the kind of thing this city dreams of hearing. He wasn't here to flip a team, he was here to win.
For a fan base that had watched other cities steal other teams, that promise was everything. Here was a man with deep pockets who actually wanted to be in Buffalo, not passing through, not looking to relocate, but planting roots. So by 2014, when the Bills came up for sale, Terry and Kim Pegula weren't strangers. They were already Buffalo sports owners. They'd already put their money and their hearts into this city, and that changed everything. Now let's talk about that bidding war, because it was wild. The Wilson estate hired Morgan Stanley to run the sale. They sent out around 60 confidentiality agreements to interested parties. 60! But when the real deadline came at the end of July 2014, only 3 formal bids landed on the table. One was the Pegulas, one was the Toronto Group, and there were other names swirling too. Donald Trump put in a bid. Tom Golisano, a Rochester billionaire who'd once owned the Sabres himself, came in late. Even a California investor named Jeffrey Gundlach explored it and reached out to Jim Kelly about teaming up. But as the dust settled, it came down to a simple, gut-wrenching question for Buffalo: the local owners who already loved this city, or the group from across the border? And here's where the Toronto bid started to wobble. Late in the process, reports came out that Tannenbaum and Rogers had actually removed Bon Jovi from their group and kept bidding on their own.
The rock star was out, but the Toronto threat still very much alive. So the Pegulas did what champions do. They didn't nudge the bid. They swung for the fences. $1.4 billion. It was, at the time, the most money ever paid for an NFL team. The old record was $1.1 billion for the Miami Dolphins. The Bills had been valued at maybe $935 million, and the Pegulas blew right past all of it, bidding so high, so decisively, that there was simply no room left to argue. On September 17th, the NFL's Finance Committee gave its nod, and on October 8th, 2014, the full ownership, every other NFL team, voted. Unanimous. The Pegulas were in. Buffalo could finally breathe. On October 10, 2014, Terry and Kim Pegula walked onto the field at Ralph Wilson Stadium, the house that Ralph built, as the new owners of the Buffalo Bills. The team was staying. The moving trucks were never coming. The nightmare was over. And Kim Pegula wasn't a bystander in any of this. She became co-owner of both the Bills and the Sabres, one of the most powerful women in all of American sports, running 2 major franchises in a single city. As for Jon Bon Jovi, he went home to New Jersey, and to this day, in certain Buffalo bars, you will not hear one of his songs on the jukebox. Some grudges this city keeps. It isn't personal exactly, it's just that for one long, frightening summer, Bon Jovi's face was the face of everything Buffalo was afraid of losing. Fair or not, that's how legends and villains get made. But the real hero of this story isn't a rock star, and it isn't even a billion-dollar check. It's a simple idea that a man who started with $7,500 and a dream could end up as the guardian of a city's greatest treasure. Terry and Kim Pegula didn't just buy a football team, they bought Buffalo its future. Think about how differently this could have gone. One higher bid from across the border, one different vote in that room, and today you might be watching the Toronto Bills. History turns on moments like these, and this one turned Buffalo's way. So the next time you're at Highmark Stadium and that crowd roars loud enough to shake the ground, remember the summer it almost went silent. Remember how close it came. And remember the couple who made sure that in Buffalo, the home team stays home. Did we get it right? Heard it told differently? Know a story we should tell next? The comments are yours. Then like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. And now you know. Let's go Buffalo!